Welcome to our post-Oscars 2018 recap. Oscar just celebrated his 90th birthday. Now we celebrate with the big winners of the evening, including the fish creature from Shape of Water and our own creature, JTE, won the Oscar poll narrowly.
I'm telling you, winning.
Perry Nemiroff and Mark Riley. You were pitching a perfect game there for a minute. As for you, Perry, what happened?
What happened? I think the shorts categories happened because both of my picks for documentary short and live action short were wrong, and I'm happy for what won, but I wanted to be JTE of all people, and I didn't.
JT knows him some movies, Rocha, and as we talk about the biggest award of the evening, which is the last one, The Shape of Water, winning, you know, it's fun that they have 9, potentially 10 Oscar nominees for Best Picture because it just builds the suspense more and more, and then that gets doubled when it's Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway giving away the award because you don't know if they're going to read the card right. They got it. We got Shape of Water. Went up there. I thought Guillermo del Toro gave a great speech to close out the evening in the spirit of everything that was the Oscars tonight. John Rocha, Guillermo del Toro, he not only won for Best Director, but his picture, The Shape of Water, also won.
Yeah, what a fantastic victory for him. You know, everyone was saying that they thought this was going to happen. There were some, people saying that the 3 billboards might slide in there and take it from him. But I think this is a perfect picture to win for this year, for the message it sends, for what it's trying to say, and also because, once again, this is a director that lives in so powerfully in the world of fantasy to talk about real life, and it's so beautiful, and it touches the child within all of us, and you saw those people, you saw that shot of Greta Gerwig, she was like, I love you, as he was giving his speech, and that tells you the 90th anniversary should be celebrating the power of movies, and The Shape of Water is a powerful film that uses everything possible to show you an incredible cinematography, the acting, the score, all of it just combined together to create a fantastic film. And for me personally, it means so much to see Guillermo del Toro win, now joining Inarritu and Cuarón as winners for Oscar. So it's just fantastic.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that right off the bat too, because we had a lot of fun here. Everybody was joking, drinking the whole night, and I bust your chops more than I probably should. But you talk about Coco winning for Remember Me, and then Guillermo del Toro winning Best Director. This was a big Oscars for Hispanics.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, walking into this, we have coming on the heels of Black Panther doing so well, people loving Get Out so much, but there's representation on our side as well, you know, and it's something I trumpet a lot and try to get people to understand. Our stories want to be told as well. Our stories have a place in this world, in this community as well, and we saw that celebrated tonight, and nothing makes me happier or more proud. Amidst all the jokes and ball bustkins, that's what we do here. We love it at Collider, but the movies mean something. Movies move you. Movies, all of us are here because movies affect us, and you've all been represented in many ways in films. To see our people now coming forward with our stories more and more, and having them being celebrated and awarded, it means a lot for me who's loved movies for my entire life to see my people up there now. It's incredible.
Yeah, Riley, I mean, you talk about the big 6 that won awards tonight. Was it The Shape of Water that stood out the most to you, or was it something else, one of the acting ones, perhaps?
No, Shape of Water is my favorite movie of the year, and leading into this conversation, 3 Billboards was the one that everybody was talking about. Did you think it had a chance? Were you getting a little nervous? Yes, I did. Yeah, I was nervous. And when I picked Shape of Water in my Oscar pool to win, it wasn't because of the politics or anything or the Oscar betting, you know, like, oh, this is going to win and win my Oscar pool. I went with my heart. Shape of Water is my favorite movie of the year. The fact that it won makes me so excited, so happy, because there is a message there that is so important. You know, if somebody can find and love a fish person, then we're doing something right. That we can accept that this is something right, and it's a beautiful film. It's a callback to not only like the old monster movies and like, you know, it's his Beauty and the Beast. But the fact that it won, it shows everything that I love about movies, which is like you can do it on practical sets. You can do it with music. You can do it with acting. You can do all these wonderful things. And it's one of those movies that just when I saw it, it was one of those movies that just made me happy. And to see it finally win, and there was Oscar, you know, people that were like, oh, it might win. 3 Billboards is probably the favorite. But I love this movie so much, and I'm glad it won.
And that's part of the fun of this, though, Perry, is that there is a little bit of suspense involved. And nothing against Three Billboards. I thought it was a good movie. But when you watch the little snippets that they put together of each of the nominees, I remembered how much I loved watching Shape of Water and how surprising it was the first time I saw it versus Three Billboards, which I see that and I'm like, oh, yeah, that was a good movie.
It's a different kind of feeling that the two movies give you because it goes back to the whole preferential ballot idea, which I think is why something as beloved as Shape of Water might have had the edge here, or at least clearly did, because the way you explain it too, I mean, really, I'm not just bringing up Nana because you're sitting here, but it reminds me of a conversation I just had with my Nana. And at its simplest, Shape of Water is a movie about love, and it ties into why Call Me By Your Name was my #1 movie of 2017, and Shape of Water was my #2, because those are two movies that cheer and applaud you for embracing what you love, even if what you love isn't considered the social norm. And the fact that we're recognizing movies like that so widely, because there are movements from every angle happening right now. And I think something that could bring us all together, no matter who you are, what your background is, what your taste in movies are, is just this idea of celebrating something we love. And what else is the Oscars but celebrating cinema?
Right. And The Shape of Water winning Best Picture might have actually been the biggest surprise of the big six, because everything else pretty much went according to chalk. I mean, you look at the Best Actor and the Best Actress, that was the favorites winning those categories with Frances McDormand and then with Gary Oldman. Rocha, what did you take away from those?
Yeah, I mean, I think Gary Oldman winning, giving that long speech and then ending it in the right way, telling his mom to put on the tea kettle, that tells you something. Like, no matter how great and famous you are, at the end of the day, you're still someone's child, you're still someone's brother, someone's sister, and that breaks it all down, you know. But Francis, my God, Francis led a revival in church at this place, and it was incredible to watch. And, you know, these movements that are happening because there is a pain and a frustration and a desire to make change, to be heard. And you see her leading that, having them all stand up, having them all be recognized and adored and clapped for and everything, because it matters. All across the board, representation matters. And in movies that can change civilizations is the place where you need to do it at. And to see her do that for so many amazing, talented women was incredible to watch. And so what can I tell you? She's a powerhouse, she's a dynamo, and you knew as soon as they called her name, she was prepping for it, and it was incredible to watch.
I got something to say.
Yeah. Everybody sat back, strapped on the
seat.
seatbelts, and sat in the chairs waiting for it.
She said it very well too, and just the idea of having all the female nominees stand up too. Yeah. It's one thing to talk about it, but then it's an extra level of it when you actually see how important the female voice is in this whole industry. And really, that was something that happened time and time again throughout this entire ceremony, whether it was just bringing up Black Panther, seeing Guillermo up there, seeing everybody else from every single nationality standing on that stage and saying their piece about why this moment means so much to them, why it means so much to the people around them. And really, when you just package it all into one show, it becomes even more overwhelmingly moving. And I think that this Oscars in particular is a sign of, oh, it's not just a movement that we're hashtagging and talking about right now. This is the start of truly changing the landscape of this industry right now, and it is such a special moment.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the reasons why Jimmy Kimmel was the perfect host for this award show and this year in particular, because there were so many social and political overtones to the evening. In virtually every speech, you got messages, and to have somebody who can just be very understated, who can come in, have a couple jokes here and there, have some bits, I thought that was so well played by him. Mark Riley, what of the other 4 categories do you think stood out as far as the major ones that we like?
Well, one that stands out that the visual effects is one that really stands out to me because I'm a geek. I love these movies. And sure, you know, I'm a Star Wars fan, so I look at Star Wars, but War for the Planet of the Apes. Now, there's some Oscar history here that I think about when you're awarding a movie like Lord of the Rings. So Return of the King won Best Picture, and every single movie in the franchise was nominated, but then Return of the King was nominated. And it was almost like, oh, we're giving it to them for the past nominees. But I really thought War for the Planet of the Apes should have won visual effects. I'm so happy Blade Runner won. But I really wanted to acknowledge the visual effects for, like, not only Andy Serkis, but the effects there. So that's the one that really stands out to me. Everything else just kind of lined up with the Oscar predictions. So I wasn't really surprised at everything. Sure, Three Billboards was the leading into the awards. That was the favorite, or that was the one that was like, you should choose this for your Oscar pool. I chose Shape of Water because that was my favorite. But it's the visual effects that the one that stands out the most to me.
You think in a year where we saw Fish Creature win a lot, but we couldn't give any love to apes, that animal got shortchanged?
I do believe it got shortchanged. I think War for the Planet of the Apes should have been acknowledged for visual effects. It was the only one that was nominated. Was it the only one that was nominated for, as far as any awards, War for the Planet of the Apes?
I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was, and I think it should have won just to give that the category, because there's a conversation about Andy Serkis being nominated for an actor because of motion capture and all the things he's done. So it would have been nice to give that award to the effects wizards behind the scenes that have done this wonderful work. And I really wanted to win. I thought Deakins was the one that deserved it.
Yeah.
And that was the Blade Runner 2049 that deserved it. But when it comes to visual effects, I really wished that it was War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, Perry, you bring up Roger Deakins, and it was so great seeing the entire room stand up when he won it, because so many of these people have worked with Roger Deakins on one of his pictures, if not multiple, and to see him get the credit he deserves after all these movies.
It was definitely one of the more moving speeches of the night, just to see him up there. I mean, really across the board, anyone who gets up there, because, I idolize so many of these people. Why should they be on that stage with their hands shaking? But when you see something like that, it's just a sign that this is that extra special moment, that even though if you have a resume as long as and incredible as Roger Deakins is, standing up there and being able to accept an Academy Award for his work finally has so much value. And I mean, it sounds silly, but even to be sitting in this office watching it as a group and just interacting as a viewer, it gives you chills. That moment gave me chills, and like sitting here talking about it right now too has me thinking back. What moment, like if I can't even pick one single moment that will define these Oscars looking back, because at first my mind goes to, it goes to Roger Deakins finally winning an award. I'm thinking about Guillermo accepting for both Best Picture and Best Director. But no, then you have to think about Frances McDormand's incredible speech that no doubt will be making the rounds on social media and YouTube tomorrow. And then on top of that, you have Jordan Peele for Get Out and what he said. There's so many defining moments of this Oscar ceremony that, I mean, really, I can't wait to see years down the line how this winds up influencing other films, other ceremonies, and then what you look back on and how you look back on it, depending where we're at.
And you also have jet skis. I think a big
what a transition
for a forgotten vehicle of yesteryear. It's not just for rednecks anymore. Jet skis, they're for rich people now, apparently, too, and Oscar winners. It was a fun through line throughout the evening. Perry brought up Jordan Peele winning for Best Original Screenplay, Roca.
Yep.
The speech he gave was one of my favorites because he thanked the people who watch and support Collider and Movie Talk, too. The fans. He said, most of all, I want to thank the fans for buying a ticket, for telling your friends about it. It's the things that we all celebrate. It's remembering that there's people that actually pay money to go see. There's kids out there mowing lawns. There's people out there working hard during the week so they can go to the movie theater in the weekend and support movies like Get Out.
Yeah, and it's him being appreciative of it, right? Because I think the really important part was when he said telling a friend to buy a ticket to go see this movie, right? Because this is a horror. It's a genre film, horror film. Also, it's a thing that tackles racial issues head on. So imagine trying to get people into a theater for that. You're relying on people to give word of mouth, to spread it, to make it get the success that it has now. And Jimmy really did a nice job with that when he brought people into the theater with at the theater across the street at the Chinese or the what is it, the TOT now?
TCL,
TCL Chinese.
Bit.
They've changed it. Yeah, the T was a great bit, but it's all this appreciation of the fans. It's interactive, and this is what's happening with our community here on Collider, and it's happening now with the Oscars. You see that it has to be. We're all one. We're all interconnected, and I think that furthers that even more, having that happen. And Jordan Peele's speech, just really powerful. This is a guy who was on Key and Peele doing the Neeson sketch, and here he is with an Oscar. Why? Because he believed in something he had to say. He had the support of people around him and the studio around him, and he wrote an incredible script and directed an incredible movie. And why not?
You're very community-oriented right now. You're very motivated.
I love the people.
I would run through a brick wall for this man
Come
right
on.
now. I think the one thing that I didn't want to see in Jordan Peele's speech, and I told Jay Washington when we ran it for the live streams, I wanted to have him bring out Key just to be in the background and translate for the Oscar speech. I thought that would have been fantastic. Call Me by Your Name, because Riley, you brought up something earlier about War for the Planet Apes, how it just missed, and it's just missed so many different categories over the years. Call Me by Your Name, just missing for not quite there for Best Picture. Timothée Chalamet just missing to win Best Actor, but it did win Best Adapted Screenplay. Perry, does that feel like we had to give that movie something because it was just too damn good to ignore?
I don't want to bring it down to just saying, oh, we had to give it something, because that is a screenplay that most definitely deserved that. And,
sure.
Again, it was my favorite movie of last year. If I were in charge of the Academy Awards and handing out all these Oscars, I probably would have honored more people than just James Ivory, because that is an incredibly touching production. I mean, first and foremost, I would have given Michael Stuhlbarg a supporting nomination, because the fact that he wasn't at least nominated is still criminal in my mind.
He deserves a jet ski.
He does deserve a jet ski.
He had such a great year. Give the man a jet ski.
Can we change this right now and put a Twitter account, like a hashtag, to get them a jet ski?
A jet ski?
Because
Get Michael
we don't know the
Stuhlbarg a
winner
jet
yet.
ski.
Have they announced the winner yet of the jet ski?
They did at the end. Yeah, it was one of the costume designers.
And he also
There it
gets
is. Okay.
2 days stay at the Days Inn Hotel, which I have actually been to. I was doing a gig
know,
in Lake
Lake
Havasu.
Havasu.
I've stayed at that Days Inn. And,
Lake Havasu, son.
I've stayed at nicer hotels. Anyway, Perry.
Well, yeah, no good transition for that. Give Call Me by Your Name all the jet skis. If I can ever afford a jet ski, Michael Stuhlbarg, you have my word. I will buy it and send it to you. Can you ship it? Yeah, you can ship a jet ski.
But
Sure.
There is a conversation to be had, Riley, about movies just getting nominated, and that's an achievement in and of itself. And certainly, I think that was the case with Logan. Although when I did hear the name James Ivory read, I was thinking, is he going to say Mangold? I heard James, and I was like, wait, is Story by James Mangold? Could this be it? It would have been a seminal moment. Didn't happen. Are you bummed that Logan didn't win? Because I know Roka's going to be crying in his Lucky Charms.
No, I'm not. And I think Call Me by Your Name deserved the Oscar. But you know what? It brings me that when you say Logan, we're excited that Logan, a comic book movie, was nominated, at least, right? But Get Out has transcended, in my opinion, the genre, right? Everybody calls Get Out a genre pick. And everybody we talked about it on Nightmares a lot, about it was a horror movie. It was a horror movie. It's a horror. It's a thriller, a horror. And it was Blumhouse and all these different things. But when you start to break down the awards, you're like, no, this is a movie. This is something that a lot of people were calling Get Out to be Best Picture. And I would have jumped out of my seat if this thing won Best Picture. But I love the fact that it won Best Original Screenplay, because it transcends genre. You look at it and you're just like, this is a good movie. This is a good, and the fact that Jordan Peele won for that is so wonderful. And yeah, I would have loved for him to win Best Picture, but I love that we're breaking down these ideas that, like, next year we can look at a Black Panther for maybe a Best Picture, or if anything, Best Costume Design, maybe Best Screenplay, but Best Picture. I'm looking at these things. So Logan wasn't acknowledged, but the fact that it was nominated is a big step forward. Yeah. The fact that Get Out won is a huge step forward. Mm-hmm. So these are the things I look at right now. And so I'm not really upset by, these things not winning or this, but I just look at this award season now and I'm like, oh, okay, we're making steps in the right direction.
But you also say this award season, and so I think these movies being recognized means that the award season is now 12 months long. You have a movie come out, it doesn't matter what month it's released, it can be nominated and even win some huge Oscars. Music is such a big part of this ceremony, so I want to talk about the music wins for just a minute here, with The Spot winning for original score, and then obviously Remember Me, Coco winning for the best song. Remember Me, Perry. A lot of people had The Greatest Showman, not these guys. Actually, wait, did you have Greatest Showman?
Oh, you're obsessed.
You traded.
Yeah, Greatest Showman. Yes.
What a disappointment you are.
I picked it too.
There we go.
As did I.
Remember Me because I think it's going to be remembered for generations to come, and I'm proud to say that's one of the 6 categories that I did get right during Oscars 2018.
Yep.
Perry.
I got that one. I got it wrong. I thought it was going to be This Is Me, and really after they finished doing the performances, I thought it was locked. Not that the Remember Me performance wasn't great, but we've said it before, This Is Me is a showstopper, and seeing Keala Settle up there just commanding the stage, everything around her, the whole theatrical nature of that performance too, and people walking out into the audience, that is a song that brings people to their feet. And again, nothing wrong with Remember Me at all. I love that song, and I've been listening to the Coco soundtrack non-stop, but I did think that This Is Me was gonna take it. And with the score category too, I am so happy that Shape of Water, I'm not gonna whistle for you right now, but I walk around whistling that theme to that movie over and over and over again. He did some incredible work on that, so I'm happy to see it honored.
I would whistle for you right now, but I can't. I literally can't whistle.
Wow.
I can
Really?
whistle, but
Yeah.
Should we
there was
tweet about
champagne
this?
tonight.
Or, like,
Yeah.
is
Can
there
you
a
really not
hashtag?
whistle?
I can't whistle at all. That's as good as I can do. Roca, Remember Me winning.
Yes.
And Alexandra Desplat.
Well, as Perry's desk mate, I can tell you, I do hear her whistle that thing all the time.
It's
So
either
it
that or
does
March
hurt.
of the Resistance,
Or March
one
of
or
the
the other.
Resistance. That's true. It depends on what day it is and what show she's about to host. But certainly it's there. But no, it's a beautiful score. It's one of those things I took away from the movie immediately as I was listening to the first. You can just know, right? Intrinsically, when you watch so many movies, you hear a score and you go, oh yeah, this thing will win it. This thing might just win it, you know. And I know John Williams didn't win this year. I got a sneaking feeling he's going to take it for Episode 9 because he said this is the last Star Wars film he's
Bold
going to
early
do.
call by
I just
Roca.
feel like he's going to take it and they're going to give it to him, and you know it'll be incredible. But yeah, look, you want to talk about conflict, a Sophie's choice. Do I take Coco from a Latino Mexican film like it was so beautiful, or do I take Greatest Showman? This Is Me from a film that really moved me and has something powerful to say. So it is a Sophie's choice. Either one winning made me happy. Of course, I felt like Greatest Showman had the inside track, but Remember Me is such a beautiful song. And when it happens in the movie, you don't have a heart if you don't snap in half and start crying when he's singing it. So I think it's a great choice, and there's nothing negative here. It's a beautiful step forward once again for a Latino film, a Hispanic film, getting a song like that recognized and winning an Oscar for it.
Riley, you are my desk mate. I'm not sure what music you hum or whistle. I'm guessing you're a 99 Love-to-Balloons kind of guy.
Yeah,
How do you feel about the musical wins here tonight?
Shout out to Nina.
Desplat is the one that stands out to me because not only was Shape of Water my favorite movie of the year, it was the score that stuck out to me. So I was like, that was the one in my heart that I picked. And then I was hoping I'd win. But I had a nostalgia love for The Last Jedi is one of the greatest scores in Star Wars. So, you know, you want that to win, but take that aside. Take all the Last Jedi talk out of it. It was Desplat that I was like, this is the one that's going to win. And then I went against my heart. Coco won, and I was so happy about that. But, sorry, haven't seen, where's my camera? Haven't seen The Greatest Showman. Haven't seen it.
You shouldn't have
gonna
admitted
tell you,
that.
I had no need. I was like,
I am going
you know
to
what?
take you. Me and you were going on a date, and we're going to see this
You've
thing.
all been talking about it enough. I was like, great. I've learned enough about The Greatest Showman from everybody in the office. I'm like, I can skip that. It's Coco that I wanted to win, but it was my Oscar pool. Sorry. Then I was like, oh, I want to win this thing. Greatest Showman. So because everybody was talking about it, I haven't heard the music. There's a lot of people out there like, this is the greatest. And you look at the box office, these songs are sticking in people's heads. So they're going back again and again. And somebody said online that was like, Greatest Showman is one of those movies that everybody talks about, and they talk about it. Go see this, go see this, go see this. So I was going with that one, but I'm happy Coco won because that's the song that sticks in my head a lot more.
Roca's going to go take you on a date to see that movie, and I'm going to have some peace and quiet at my desk. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, I don't.
She
Yeah.
can whistle to her heart's content.
You guys,
Look,
yeah,
listen,
you
all I'm
can
saying
whistle
is that
all you want.
If Sally Hawkins can get with a fish creature, you at least go on a date with Roca
Come
and
on.
just see what happens, you know?
I don't know. Let me check with my girlfriend if I can go out with Roca or not. Yeah,
She
she'll
come
come
with.
with
I got
us.
no
I'm sure
problem
she will.
with
She's
the
over.
trio.
Oh, there she is. Okay.
She may be
Good.
sitting
Yes.
just
Nod.
off camera
No.
right now.
Ooh, okay.
She's holding up it's a rotten sign, unfortunately, for the native John Roca. Swing and a miss, pal. Swipe right next time. I want to move on to a couple more categories, and really what I'd like to kind of close us out with here is the biggest surprise in any other categories that you guys saw coming, but you thought that maybe was an underdog or that you didn't see coming that totally came out of left field for you. Perry, I'll start with you.
My out of left field one is already one that Riley's referenced, and it's War for the Planet of the Apes,
Yeah.
not taking that visual effects award, because not that Blade Runner Runner is undeserving, but we're talking about the third film in a franchise that has earned this award, or at least in my opinion, now 3 times over and has never been recognized. I forgot who tweeted this tonight, but I think it's kind of true, and I'm sorry I can't give them credit for it, but they said something along the lines of, by not giving this movie this award right now, it's basically a way for them to get around ever acknowledging the fact that Andy Serkis should be in the Best Actor category. And I believe that. And again, I'm glad that Blade Runner is an Academy Award winning film now, but the fact that the Planet of the Apes franchise, this new iteration with Andy Serkis starring in it, has not won a visual effects Oscar, that is crazy to me.
Swing and a miss. Sorry, Apes. Mark Riley, what do you think is the biggest shock or the biggest, maybe your favorite moment of the evening?
Well, I go to leading up to Best Picture, everybody was talking about three billboards. And it was like, it won the BAFTA, right? So it was like that one movie where, against my better judgment, everybody's like, don't pick Shape of Water. Pick Three Billboards. If you want to win an Oscar pool, pick Three Billboards, because all the awards were pointing in that direction. So I think that it can be said that Shape of Water is a little bit of a surprise. Even though I picked it, it was something that everybody was talking about. Three Billboards. The message it wanted to put out there, the winners with Sam Rockwell and Frances McDormand, that seemed to be towards the end the favorite. So I went against it. I went, no, Shape of Water is the one that I looked at as being like not only my favorite, but something that if you put it out there, she's falling in love with a fish man. So that is something to tell the world that love is perfect. You can fall in love with the fish man and have a happy ending. So I love that won Best Picture. And so that was a surprise, I think, for some people out there that picked it based on a number of awards that are out there.
Yeah, suddenly Tom Hanks in Splash isn't so creepy anymore.
That should have been nominated for Best Picture.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Rocha, you're going to look back at the Oscars 2018 and you're going to say what?
This is the best Oscars telecast I've seen in maybe 30 years.
Okay. Are you
honestly.
a little punch drunk
30
right
years?
now?
The audience is... Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I will allow you to defend your statement.
Sure. If these people laughing can tell me what year they think was better, I'm all ears.
1994.
Yeah.
I'm serious. What?
1994.
Oh, okay, thank you. So take your laughs outside. Here's the deal. Because of what it represented. Because what?
No one's that old.
Yeah, all right. Okay, Jay. Jay's got 4 kids. Come on, who's older here? Listen, the whole thing about this whole situation. Whoa! He's 55. Jay's 55, for God's sakes. That's right.
It's about an age we're talking about, or movies?
With Morgan Freeman.
Okay, look,
If
this broadcast has transition lenses, they're getting a little foggy. Let's try to lighten it up a little bit and let Rocha have his piece.
No, honestly, I really do. And I think for so many reasons, I think Jimmy Kimmel was a fantastic host. No controversies at all. No boring bits or sketches that he did that didn't work or didn't pay off. The jet ski thing totally worked, which is really surprising. I thought what happened with Frances McDormand, what happened with Jordan Peele, I thought what happened for the Latino Hispanic community. So much about this Oscars, and they brought back the montages, which is something that they were pushing back against over the last few years. And the stage was incredible. The sets were phenomenal. Everything about it. The people that came up. Maybe 1 or 2 jokes didn't work in the whole night. And you can't say that for an Oscar show. It's really tough. So for me, I was thoroughly entertained, thoroughly enjoyed it, and it put you back in love with film. And that's what the Oscars ceremony is supposed to do. And I feel like the last few years they've stopped doing that because they had to cram it into 3 hours because producers or advertisers or whatever were upset about how long it was going. But this is one night. And it's one night to celebrate film. It's the only night we really get to celebrate film. And so, to me, this was a fantastic Oscars. And the only surprise is that there were no surprises in the Best Supporting Actor or Actress category. There's always a curveball every once in a while in there, and there wasn't this time. So.
I love your enthusiasm, lad, and I do share because I'm a guy that's a little cynical when it comes to giving awards to people who played pretend for a period of months. But they mean so much more than that. It's not just an award to say, oh, your movie's better than this movie. It's not just making art smart competition. It actually is giving people a platform to not only say their piece, but also to go further in their careers. Once you win an Oscar, it opens up so many more doors for you. And I think we saw that happen tonight in such a beautiful way. I thought that Jimmy Kimmel, once again, did a terrific job, start to finish. He might be this generation's Billy Crystal. I mean, you talk about passing a torch from either Bob Hope to Johnny Carson. We've had some great hosts in between, but then you look at Billy Crystal maybe passing the torch to Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know if he'll come back next year. I think they'll probably want to mix it up, but Jimmy Kimmel's going to be one of those guys for decades to come that you can rely on to host a great Oscars ceremony, and I think that he should be an Oscar host mainstay, at least until I get my orange suit back from the dry cleaners. Thank you guys so much for tuning in all night long to our live stream, our pre-show, hosted wonderfully so by Perry Nemiroff, and this post-show that I tried to hold onto the wheels for dear life as best as I could. We are going to be back tomorrow for Movie Talk at the normal time, 9 a.m. PST. We're going to have a whole Oscars recap. Christian Harloff's going to be there. John Schnapp's going to be there. Perry Nemiroff is going to be back. It's going to be a really fun show. And then don't forget, tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST, we have our special Collider Town Hall moderated by me. We're going to have some of the head cheeses, the big wigs, the grand poobahs of Collider are going to be on this very soundstage. We can ask them whatever we want about the past, the present, the future of Collider. Thank you guys for tuning in to Oscar night, and we'll see you next year when Rocha declares that the best Oscar ceremony he's ever seen. Hey everybody, Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode of Collider Movie Talk. You want to watch more? Then click up here, or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. And if you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.